All right, guys. You guys want to blow up your back? Saw I blow my back up. You want a mass building back workout? Try this. You want bulging lats? You want Tyrannosaurus traps? You guys want lats like Dorian Yates with half the work and half fucking genetics? You want to figure out how to not work hard, get big? You want, this is the shortcut channel. People doing back. Because a lot of the times we talk about how you're putting chest pressure on the chest pad. I'm basing my chest pressure here. I'm sitting down, hips down. I'm letting my body weight drift into the pad, and then I'm rocking off. So the idea is that I want to teach people that even when they're out here and they're pulling, this head drifts, the first thing that's gonna happen when they go to pull is gonna be this chest pop, but I also wanna feel this neck go like this and retract. So I wanna get my face out and then my face back. So if you cue someone where it's like, when you release out, I'm trying to lean my head towards a point or towards a hand, and I'm trying to rock back when I pull. So I'm trying to stick my chin out and head down so my head drifts towards this, and then I snap back through. So the further I can get my head backing up, the more rise I can get. If you have someone chin down and they just keep rocking here, that's fine too, but the idea is to get head up. When I pull, so head's down, to get up, rock off. So I'm gonna drift towards the mirror, rock off towards the mirror. So my head goes out and you see my head moving through the pull, right? In essence, I wanna have, it's almost like if you're training with someone, you guys are training with your training partner, your girlfriend, whoever it is, you almost wanna have them like, if they're set up on the machine here, I wanna be at the side of them, so I want their, if this is their head, I want them to tell them like, when they do the lean forward into the pad, I want you to be like, drift your head towards my hand. Like even if I drift my hand towards my head like this, so their head's drifting, and you wanna move your hand towards them as they pull. So the idea is like, don't let me hit you, and get the hell out of the way of my hand, keep that distance of 2 or 3 inches from my hand and get that head to move back and that head to move forward. So you're almost attached to the hand pulling in and out, understanding that like I'm just feeling like I'm being drawn out and then tucked back in. I gotta get my face away from that hand that if I stayed here will go and hit me. So I gotta get up and get out of the way of that thing coming at me, right? It's just like a basic cue you can think of, and you guys who, most of you have training partners, just think about setting the person up that way. Like it doesn't have to be like some weird ass shit. It's just like, bro, like your head's not moving. If my head doesn't, if I lean forward here and my head doesn't move and I lift my chest, I get a lot of retraction if I understand shoulder movement. Most people don't, so I want to get this to happen. I want to pull that head back as it drifts out so I understand this retraction. Most people who are like good at what they do, understand movement, I can stay here and retract all day. But a lot of people will do this. So you got to get that head moving up instantly, or it's not gonna, like, nothing's gonna happen. All this movement and all this like pressure down and this and that can be great, but if we don't get that head moving up, that chest lifting and those shoulders rolling down and back, or at least starting to do that, it doesn't have to be this like, it's not like every back pull has to be this exaggerated like this. Ideally, this is where I flex my back, but the more I lean forward and the more weight I get, it might get to here. Because I'm on air right now. If I have 50, 100 pounds in front of me, this rising might be to here, parallel with my body. Obviously, when I have no weight in my hand, I can retract even further. But our goal is to get to here. Whether we get there or not, we're still pulling with the intent to get there, so it's boom. And it gets heavier, boom, boom. The reps dissipate in length, right? Don't think that dissipation or like shortening of length of reps is an indicator of like, oh, I'm not hitting the muscle. It's like, no, it's moving, man. Like, it's still working, guys and girls. Like, so don't get all frustrated when you're doing like bench press and you're like, the first reps are here and then it's here, and then you get here and then you start doing this because you're like, it's not going far enough. You're like, you know what I mean? Like, you're like, I just got to get it out there. I'm a failure at life if I don't get it out there. So you see these people like fucking, one arm's up, the other one's cranking, like looking like Stephen Hawking out there. Probably cut that one out, but fuck him, he went to the island, fuck that guy. But yeah, so just be like, use these cues, even if you guys like be inventive and be like innovative of how you can convey movement to yourself and how you can give movement to people, like, and understand that like my head does stuff without my body. It turns here, it does all this stuff. I can sit here still and literally move my head here forward and back and talk to you like a weirdo. But I understand, and I don't even have that much movement. There's some people who can literally tuck their whole shit back and tuck themselves up at one time and put their head out here, move up and down, do all this stuff. I'll show you guys a drill you can do for your head movement. You guys, we've talked about this before for shoulder mobility and like being able to roll up through things and lift, open up, getting things to move, right? Guys who just have a problem with neck motion and getting that to unlock, it's like I can just pull my shoulders. If I'm on the fucking ground, obviously I'm as low as I can get. My head's relaxed. So don't put your head on the ground like this and like tense your neck. Just put your fucking face on the ground. Put a towel there. I'm grimy, so I don't give a fuck. I'll just put my face in the ground. So my head is on the ground. All my weight's on my forehead. My shoulders are relaxed. My back's relaxed. So I'm going to pull my shoulders back a bit. And I'm just going to shove my head back. And hold. So there's so much pressure up here, chin down, pushing back, that I'm understanding this movement. Once I get good at holding there for like 6 seconds, let go, 6 seconds, let go, then I can get this idea that where I can retract here and pull here, and now we can start moving just our head. So I can be here, and I can let my head relax. With my shoulders back, and then pull my head back. Relax, pull. Pull. So all I'm doing is reaching for the ground with my forehead, pulling back into where I was. That's mimicking the position of the pull. So on a pull that I do on a machine or whatever, I'm here, I want to end up here. So all I'm doing is understanding that I'm in this position, but I'm moving my neck now. I'm doing it on the ground. So I'm going to have a lot more movement when I'm on the ground because I don't have gravity, I don't have any force to contend with. I'm pulling my shoulders and I can pull my head back and I can just hold here. And then reach out, pull back. Or if you're not comfortable with that, just work on these pullbacks and holds. Lift your hands up and just have this retraction of like shoulders pulling back, head pushing back. Once you master that, then we do this with the head where we're fucking letting it go, pulling without letting this shoulder go down. So it's here, tuck it back. Don't move those shoulders and rock up. Don't look up either. Don't start doing this. It's chin tucked, head back. Other things you can do, which are end positions of a lot of things, especially pull downs, is you can mimic a pull down end range with this bar. So should I do for my shoulder for recovery? The idea is I want to be able to retract like I am here. I want to be able to have a bar and hold here. So I want to get this as deep as I can into me and back at me. So I almost want it rolled up into me and my head tucked back here. So my head has to be back for me to get this in. The deeper I get towards me, my head has to get back and hold. So I'm holding here. I can let out and I can pull back in here and get higher even. But this idea of getting your head away from the ground will elicit this movement when we're sitting up, right? You'll have more control, you'll have more ability, even on a barbell row, to pull through, because I understand tension here. I'm not going, and everything you do, your head's fucking down. As you'll see when people have weak backs, or they just haven't been taught how to train back properly, as soon as they see it starts getting heavy, this head goes, and you can't get it back up. So you'll have to have them lift it, look at the ceiling, get used to getting their head up. That's what we don't want here, is I don't want to be on the ground looking up. I want to be here. Because this means nothing. But when you're sitting in a chair and you're doing a row, and you get someone to throw their head back when they pull, and they can't get their chest to lift, if I go like this, what happened? My chest went up. So you can teach them by looking up, because that way their chin doesn't duck and they don't pull down, and they just rock. And then we say, okay, level out your chin, keep doing it. Now find a point lower, keep doing that chest lift. The next thing you know, they're rowing right? But these little warm-up things are these little things you can do before. It may seem tedious and fucking annoying, but those three positions we just did, where it's just head, where shoulders back and head back, and then head releasing, and then pulling that bar in. I'm pulling that bar in like a lat pull down. I'm trying to get in tighter to myself and roll my hands back this way, so I roll under here. So this is an ideal position for me to be in when I'm doing a lat pull down. Or here when I'm doing a row, if I put my hands down, it's the same thing. I'm just changing angles, but I'm not changing postures, right? And more people, like more guys, like you guys will do this you'll come in here and do this fucking like band over the back thing back here. We're going around here like this. They'll do all this shoulder mobility, but you don't have shoulder mobility for real. The shoulder joint is mobile, but you're not using it effectively. So all that shit's cool, but put it into practice and put it into use, because half of you guys doing that shit have shit backs. Your back fucking development sucks because you don't understand that just because my shoulder's mobile and I can do this with my shoulder and I can roll around and I can do all this like weird dynamic things with my shoulder, I still have to move it with the rest of my body. So where's your work for the body? Where's your work for scapula? Where's your work for all this stuff? Some guys are doing it. I'm not saying no one's doing it. But when you're obsessing about like these minute things or these minutiae of fucking like, oh, shoulder mobility, I'm gonna stand here and I'm gonna let the fucking thing hold out my arm and do all this stuff. Yeah, move your body too. Prime your body for movement. Don't just walk in there and be like, my shoulders are loose, I'm not gonna hurt them, that's for sure. It's like, well, you're also not gonna grow your fucking back because there's no movement through here. Like if I can't do this and this, this and this, if you can't have that much movement, I'm 300 pounds and 289 pounds. My bad. If I can do this and roll my shoulders back and forth this much and have this much movement through my core, you can. Because you're probably smaller. You know what I mean? And less broken. So you're gonna do real well. My shoulder only goes back so far. Yours probably goes fucking rant to the back, right? You look fucking like those crazy dudes who like pull their arm behind their head and then like move their shoulder. Fucking dancing guys, what are those guys?
Wild, I don't know.
We're gonna put a clip in and send it to you. You're gonna be like those motherfuckers.